Hi guys, it's Machaela and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a temporary series that I am calling Mommy Talk May. Now in honors of Mother's Day this month, every video that I'm featuring is going to have one thing or another to do with motherhood, whether it's a mommy makeup routine, a mommy dressing routine, how I style my body as a mother compared to back before I had kids, really just some mom talk, some encouragement, speaking to myself quite a bit because I know that as a mother it's hard and I can often be put down on myself. So that's actually what today's video is about, just trying to encourage you guys, encourage myself. They say you can give advice but not necessarily take it for yourself, so we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. And really it's just about being enough. As a mom, things are hectic, things are chaos. Some days it feels like the house is falling apart, and on those days you feel like you are doing a terrible job as a mom. When I feel like I'm out and about and my kids are being crazy, I'm like, I see everyone else's kids around me and I'm like, why are they being so good? Why are they listening to their parents? Or why am I not playing on the swing set with my kids but I'm hanging out with some of the other adults when we're at the park? Or why am I letting my husband play with the kids and I'm just sitting back? And you start to feel some of the eyes that are on you, and honestly I don't think they're as much on you as you think they are. I think as mothers we are so prone to feeling like we're being judged, when in all reality we're just doing what everybody else is doing, trying to raise our kids the best we can. And I know, like, just for me, being in that place of I'm not good enough, or I don't have my house in order enough. And I read this Facebook post a few days ago that, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, that went, somebody was complimenting this mom on, oh, you're such a good mom, and she's like, I feel like I'm a failure, the house is falling apart, the kids are screaming. And the person complimenting her was, anyway, the post was saying, and I believe it was like a teacher complimenting the school-age kid, but she was saying, it's the ones that are screaming that it's in a good household, because it's the ones that are not screaming or fighting you or things are being chaos that it's not a good household, because they're not getting something that they need, or they've got parents who are not good parents. So, and that's just kind of a reminder to me that, what, my toddlers running around being crazy, it means they're healthy, it means they're happy, it means they're doing good. Even though some moments are not so good, that's just the reality of life. Or the teenagers not giving the attitude back are the ones that are off doing something really sneaky, but the teenagers that are, it means that they know they are loved, they're just in a phase. And to look at that and think, what, the days that it feels like pure chaos, and the days that I feel like I'm failing as a mom are actually the days that I'm doing good, that things are going good, that I struggle. I struggle so much, because you think, when I became a first-time mom, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do, and right immediately after I had my daughter, I was like, I'm failing, I'm a failure, I'm not good at this. And looking back on it now, and if I could say to myself, of course you're not good at this, you've never done this before, you're a first-time mom, you're trying to navigate. Of course there's going to be stumbling blocks, of course you're going to have days where you're failing. You went from doing what you wanted to completely being on the schedule of a new baby, and their schedules are crazy. There are days where you don't get sleep, and then they get on a schedule and you're like all kinds of happy, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, things are going good, and then they flip a switch and it's not going good because they're teething or they're going through a growth spurt or whatever it is, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was doing good, I'm failing again. You're not failing, your kids are going through a phase, you're doing the best you can. Of course you're gonna have moments where you're gonna break down because you don't know what to do in the next moment. Granted, you know, like in my experience having more kids, it has made it a little bit easier. Not because each kid is the same. Each kid is completely different. Each kid has their own set of needs and their own ways of going about it. But because I've been through this before, that initial learning curve is not there for me. And just looking back on some of it, you know, and I go through this daily. I mean, my kids are still young, but I go through this daily where I don't know what to do, and I feel like I'm just failing. And then I have days where I'm feeling pretty good. You know, like the last couple of days, for instance, things have been good. I've had, you know, my husband and we've had things in a pretty good order. But 2 weeks ago, it felt like things were chaos. Heck, even a week ago, felt like chaos. And it's not what you do in the moment that you're failing, but how you go about making it better. That means you're doing good. You're gonna get through a phase, things are gonna be good, and then things are not gonna be good. And the fact is, you are good enough for your kids. I'm a good enough mom for my kids, even though I feel like I may lose it sometimes. I never do. I never go into full crazy mode, though I do have my days where I'm just thinking to myself, like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this? I need to be more patient with my kids. And the reality is I do. I'm human. Just like, you know, they learn from me. I do. I'm not a perfect parent. I try to be good. I try to be the best I can. And yeah, just like anybody else, I'd say I'm pretty hard on myself. I'd say that when it comes to feeling defeated, it's often, but there are days where we're doing good. We've had a few good days this week. I'm like, my house feels like it's in order again, and I'm excited and I'm happy. My house isn't always perfectly clean. My house looks like it's lived in. And, you know, I feel like a failure because of that sometimes. And the reality is no, I'm a mom and I have kids who live here. That's the reality of motherhood. Now, things aren't a total disaster. I keep everything well maintained, sanitized, all the crazy stuff is out of the way, but there are toys laying on the floor. That's the reality of motherhood. There are going to be toys on the floor. Sometimes, you know, laundry is going to pile up. The dishes may not always be done. But I'm getting to it. I'm doing it, but it's not perfect. And like the standard of having things absolutely perfect all the time, just had to take a break there so I can go do the mom thing. But as I was saying, it's okay if things aren't perfectly in order all the time. You are doing good. If you have kids that are happy, if you have kids that are healthy, if you've got kids that are being noisy and screaming and you feel like you can't control them sometimes, especially being out in public. Getting out in public is insane. But it's okay because my kids are safe and they're good, and it's, you know, I was thinking about this before I got on here. This is kind of a video straight from the heart, nothing scripted. But I was thinking about this before I got on here today, and I'm thinking, going to church. We are a Christian family. We believe in God. We believe in implementing that with our kids. But going to church can be extremely difficult. Trying to get everybody to stay in the sanctuary. And it's just difficult. It's, you know, it's getting better. There are days where we could sit through the whole sermon. But then there are days where we have to go out because the kids just can't settle down, and we, you know, as a mom, I feel like it is our responsibility to be polite and be respectful of those around us. And there are times where if they are getting fussy, we need to take them out, and a lot of times that is more often than not. However, I also believe in, and this is not just for a church setting, but with any social setting, if they're being crazy, take them out. But if they're just stirring around a little bit, they have to learn how to be in a social situation. And how do you teach them? You teach them by doing it. And even if the days that it's chaos and you feel like you're being a bad mom because of it, or you can't keep your kids under control because of it, just push. You know, I believe in pushing through. I believe in taking the kids out, calming them down, getting to where things are settled, but then putting them back in said social setting of wherever you're at, whether it's church, whether it's a, you know, like a group you go to, so any kind of social settings, you know, whatever activities it is that you're doing, you teach them by letting them be. And as far as I'm concerned, and this is something I've had to learn, is every little movement's not a bad movement. They're just kids. They're doing it. They are learning how to be in a social setting. They don't know how. And so long as, if they're not screaming, I'm not taking them out. And I do have a tendency of apologizing a lot, like sorry, my kids are, and the right group of people will say, you know what, no, I don't care, let them come, let them learn. They're people too, they are humans too, they're okay. Being a little stir crazy is not going to bother anybody. And for me, it's okay, you know what, my kids can handle it. You know, do I give them my phones just to calm them down? Of course I do. I'm not anti-screen time, okay? But I mean, there are limits to everything involved, of course, but I'm not against giving them my phone in a social setting. And those, maybe the other kid sitting right next to them is like totally behaving well, doing good. Guess what? Chances are that kid's just having a good day and you're not. And that's all there is to it. It doesn't mean you're a bad mom. It means that you're in a good moment, or it means that they're in a good moment and you're not. But guess what? Tomorrow the roles will be reversed. And I've seen that among the many groups of people that we're in. And quite honestly, and this is going to sound terrible, but when I see somebody else, especially one of the other parents in some of our social groups, when I see them like getting on their kids, I'm like, man, now I don't feel so bad. I'm like, oh, like I feel like I'm not alone. I'm like, okay, so today my kid's being good. Yes, it's my kid being good. And then I'm like, okay, like I get a little smile on my face because I know that tomorrow my kid's probably not going to be good. And that's just the way it goes, and that's just the way of parenting. So just not comparing yourselves to other parents because their kid is happening to have a good day and your kid is happening to not. And that's just something I've had to learn as a mom. I'm a good mom even when the days seem chaos. I'm a good mom when the days are good. I'm a good mom because my kids are fed, my kids are healthy, my kids are loved. They are loved. They are happy. They've got a good home. They've got Jesus in their lives. We're implementing our values into them in a way that we can see, and we're starting to see that they're learning so much. They are doing so good. And that's how you know you're a good mom. The bad days don't determine whether or not you're a bad mom. Even if it's a bad season or a bad phase that they're in, you're not a bad mom. You're just having a bad day, and maybe 2 or 3 at that. But guess what? 2 or 3 good days will come. 2 or 3 good phases will come. And that's what makes you a good mom. Being a new mom, and I would love to do a video on it, especially if you would like to know like my experience when I first started having kids. Comment below if you'd like that. But my experience as a new mom was completely different to my experience now. I feel like, I wouldn't say I'm a seasoned mom. I just say I've learned a few things. And I've learned to let go of certain things, and I'm still learning. Like I said in the intro, this video is mostly for me because I feel like I need some encouragement myself. I feel like I've got, you know, filming this, I'm filming it on, I mean, the day itself, on the day I'm filming this, I wouldn't say it's been a good day, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's been a bad day. If it were a bad day, I probably wouldn't be sitting here filming this because I'd be too upset to think. Or I'd be in a phase of I'm a terrible mom. But if it were a good day, I mean, I'd be all over kind of happy-go-lucky, which maybe it seems like I am right now. We're in a calm moment. Let's just put it that way. We're in a calm moment. But I wouldn't say it's been a good day, but I wouldn't say it's been a bad day. I feel like the day's had its good and bad moments, which realistically that's kind of par for the course. Anyway, that's probably enough rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this gave you some good encouragement. This video should be going up the weekend of Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all of you moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy the day. Get spoiled. Make your husband and your kids spoil you. And with that, I will see you in the next one. God bless and bye, guys.